Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. We are here, of course. This is your next day thoughts for the Leeds United versus Manchester United game as that ended 1-1 and we got a point. It's annoying, of course, because we did take the lead 1-0 and we all know conceding right after we score. I thought that was kind of out of our game, especially when we've been on this run. It's not really happened. And then it has happened again and we conceded after scoring. But that's okay. We'll take a point in a good performance. The news came out today. Ruben Amorim's been sacked. So Amorim just got sacked out of nowhere. That's what happens when Daniel Farker is your opponent. That's the Brendan Aronson effect, and it's brilliant. So Amorim is sacked for Manchester United, and the rumors out there, it might be Maresca coming in. Which means if Maresca comes in, guess what? Daniel Farker is 3-0 against Maresca, while if you look at the league table, Leicester had the better team because they won the league. Fuck beat him twice. Chelsea had the better team by a lot. We beat them. So, which means if Maresca comes in, 3 points at Old Trafford. 3 points at Old Trafford. Oh, please, Maresca, come into Man United so we can get 3 points at Old Trafford. It'll be so simple. So he got sacked. But let's get into the things that actually do matter, which is Leeds United and what Daniel Farke had to say after the game in his after the performance. So Daniel Farke started off with, "I'm proud of my lads. Tricky circumstances. Had to go over the line 2 days ago. Several key players out. Even Longstaff in the squad. Would never normally do this. Ilya, Bornau and James Justin could not normally start today with their workload, but had to because we had no other players. So that's just basically saying that Gruev, Bornau and James Justin all would not have started if, Rodon was fit. Ampadu didn't get the yellow card. And which means, I don't know what we would have done at centre back then. I think we would have had two at the back then. Oh no, if we had Rodon and stuff. It's weird because I'm looking, and then Bogle was the other one. Bogle would have started instead of James Justin. But that kind of proves, when I see him say stuff like this and I see this kind of thing, it also tells me, I'm not going to be too harsh on players like Gruev, who, in my opinion, didn't even have a bad performance, but he's getting a lot of shit from some fans that I just generally don't think they know. They don't know the defensive side of football when they talk about football. That's all it is, in my opinion, because everyone talks about, you want that, everyone wants flashy players all over the pitch. Gruev isn't flashy. He's a simple, good defensive midfielder that defends and does the job he has to do, he does well. He does his job very well, which is the simple things. Hi, Danny, how you doing? He does the simple things. He does the simple things about winning the ball back, slowing it down. He does slow it down at times, which is why in home games especially is something that we don't normally like to do because the crowd will go, because he slows it down. Away games, that's why he was using away games in the championship. He's perfect for away games because you don't get that because you're not the home team, so you don't get the groans when you slow things down a bit. But in away games, I think Gurev's perfect for that. I think he's the perfect player to play in away games based off, when teams are on top of you and you need someone to just grab the ball and just slow it down and get the possession and, get your team back in the game by getting the possession and holding the ball for a little bit, so players can catch their breath as well. That's what Gurev's good at. And as it says, basically, Gruev, Bornau and James Justin all would not have played if we had the other players available. So you look at them and I thought James Justin was absolutely horrible in this game. I thought he was the worst on the pitch. I thought he was absolutely awful. But I can look at that and go, if Bogle was fit, he wouldn't have started James Justin. And James Justin has some credit based off his last performance against Liverpool, which was amazing, and he was man of the match. So, and even Bornau, I thought Bornau actually had a good game. I thought Bornau was, I thought he had a good game as well. I thought Bornau played well. But it's good that, Bornau got through the game without picking up another injury because we know he's pretty injury prone. Don't forget if you're still awake, press conference 4 p.m. That's is it? Is it? It's today. Okay. I'm doing my preview tomorrow then. Anyway, I'll be doing it tomorrow. So, okay, the press conference is today. Okay. What are we up to now? And then Farke had to say, not our best day football wise. Light disappointment. We did not win. Equaliser unnecessary. This says a lot after 7 unbeaten as a newly promoted side. That we are disappointed with a draw, which is a thing based off, that's a thing on all Leeds fans. Every Leeds fan's annoyed and disappointed that we didn't get all 3 points, which is a massive turnaround from, before the City game, if you said, oh, we'll draw against Liverpool 0-0 and we'll draw against Scum 1-1, everyone would have went, oh my god, bang, two great performances, two great points that we wouldn't have expected. You look at that and you go, and the way it's changed since the City game of like, we're disappointed to get a point against Scum, who people can say are shit, but they're a team that could still finish top 4 this season. Like, they're still up there. And you look at the performance, they had players out, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So did we. I mean, I've heard Scum fans say, you played our B team and couldn't beat us. You have a £60 million striker on the bench. I wish that was our so-called shit. I wish that was our so-called B team on the bench, having a £60 million striker. Having, Sesko, who's also like, 60, 70 million. Having Cunha, oh my god, it's such a bad team. They were waxing lyrical about Heaven. I mean, he won Player of the Month for them last month. Apparently, that's what I heard. Got absolutely done by Brendan Aronson. But apparently it's your B team. Yeah, everyone's been sucked. I mean, if I'm actually going to be honest, I don't know why. Like, you can tell the upper board at that club just have this ego. Once he says something about them, they're like, "Nah, you're gone now." Not the result, It's once he starts saying stuff about like, "Oh, he said something about like, let me manage the team or something," and then it sucks. I mean, I'm happy because I don't think they'll get the appointment next right either. I think they could drop down to like, I actually wouldn't be surprised if they dropped to a mid-table team this season and finished 10th, 11th. I mean, it's an improvement. They finished 15th last season, so that's an improvement. So they should actually be happy with that. That's an improvement from where they finished last season. But like, it's just so like, he's not like, Amram's not a bad manager. I think he's a good manager. It's, they say his system doesn't work and stuff, but it's just crazy at that club, and hopefully it continues going the way it's going. Hopefully the ones in charge stay in charge forever, and it'll continue to be shit. So good, but it's mad. Daniel Fuck went on to say, we always have to invest. Everything need to be spirited and tight together. Another good point. Need a few more. Another quick turnaround. Of course, we've got another quick turnaround. Jayden Bogle hopefully back for Newcastle. Calf problem was a minor calf problem. So yeah, hopefully Jayden Bogle is actually back for the game coming up. I don't know if James Justin can play another game without getting an injury. It's starting to get to that stage, especially when you have these type of players that, as Fark already said before, like, they've played a lot of minutes, and you have, like, as he spoke about with Gruev's, Bornau and James Justin, you're like, if they continue playing because they have to, you're going to have one of them pick up an injury. Of course, Gruev won't probably play the next game, which isn't based off him being bad or having bad performances, because he never puts a foot wrong. He never puts a foot wrong, but Ampadu is just a better footballer. Like, the mad thing is people haven't got Gruev. You look at it, he's our 5th choice midfielder. I mean, if Gruev's our 5th choice midfielder, that's a good 5th choice midfielder. Yes, he's the first option if Ampadu gets injured. But, there could always be a game where Fark might see, okay, I want to go more attacking, and he could put Stack there and then play Tanaka and Aronson on either side. Like, if he wants to do that, he can do it if he wants to go more attacking. But I feel like he likes Gruev because he's defensive. You're sound with Gruev in there defensively. And it's just one of those things about the next game, of course, Ampadu will be back in that position. Gruev's going to just play the games when we're going to need him. The rotation. You look at the squad. The squad depth we've got is actually pretty good. Like, Bornau cost us $5 million. He's looking like a Premier League defender. The last 2 games, Liverpool, thought he was absolutely brilliant. Man of the match for me. For me, he got my man of the match. And even in this game against Scum, I thought he was great defensively. He's actually shown himself that he's a very good defender. I mean, we're all worried after Sheffield Wednesday that he wouldn't be able to do it, but hey, I've turned around on him, and I'm like, $5 million for a player like Bornau. Take that. Yeah, Longstaff is almost back. Of course, he was on the bench. He was never going to come on, but it's good to have him back in the squad. Generally, do not know how. Like, I've seen a couple of content creators talk about the game. Like, I've been watching a couple, and people are talking about Tanaka starting games, and I'm like, how that, like, it's mad. Like, who would have thought, like, if you went back to when we got promoted and said to Leeds fans, hey, we're going to be in the Premier League and Brendan Aronson's going to be keeping Tanaka out the team, they would just laugh in your face. But generally, you can't take Stack out because he's our set piece taker. I mean, I know Longstaff can take a corner and stuff, but Stack's our set piece taker. and he's been brilliant in my opinion, defensively. I mean, in FPL, I mean, you can even look at FPL. He's always, every game week, he's near the top for defensive contributions. He's always getting bonus points for defensive contributions, so he's always there making tackles, winning the ball back. Aronson's performances in the last couple, since the Liverpool game where he came off the bench, he's been incredible. You can't drop him. And Ethan Ampadu's a guaranteed starter, captain, and he's the DM. So legit, like Longstaff and Tanaka, it's going to be hard for them to get back in this team in the starting 11. It's about them making impacts off the bench, and buying their time until something happens, or like, we might get an injury at some. We're going to get an injury at some point, probably in the. It's going to happen. You're gonna have to buy your time. But that's good that we have players on the bench that can be impacts. Because I mean, I looked before kickoff, and people were upset that Gruev was starting ahead of Tanaka. But in my head, I'm like, okay, if we're losing the game, I know we weren't, but if we were losing the game or we wanted a goal, would you rather have Tanaka on the pitch and Gruev be the bench option, or have Tanaka off the bench, who's more of an impact and who can score goals, than Gruev? Imagine our option off the bench was Gruev. If we needed a goal, you wouldn't be confident, but off the bench, Tanaka for a goal, you'd back more, and he did that. He's done that in games off the bench. Yeah, the way Aronson is playing, you can't drop him at the minute. Yep, that run he made back into his own half to win the ball back. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he just runs. He absolutely just runs. He doesn't stop. Like he's actually a player. He's similar to Dan James. He can play. I swear, 3-4 games of football just one after each other. I don't even know if he'd be tired after that. The guy can just keep on running and running and running. And it's not even like, you look even in like the first half, that I know his shot was bad, but that run he made when he just nicks it off Casemiro, and he just goes right through him, and you're just like, he's been very good in the last couple of games. He's been given this, he's also been given this free roam role, in my opinion, since the Liverpool game. He came on against Liverpool, looked like he could give him more of a free roam thing of just like going across the midfield from left to right. And he was brilliant, got the assist for Stark, and ever since then, he's kind of been slowly put back in, because he kind of did get dropped by Fark and put on the bench, and then when we changed formation, he's been slowly reintegrated into the team, and then all of a sudden he's starting and he's playing well, and he's been given this role, I think, of being like a free roam of just be there, be an option in different positions, pop up on the left, pop up on the right, pop up in the middle. And I just think he's done so well with that's works in this system. It works so well because of how much he runs as well, because you need that player that can press in the system that we're playing, and he's been brilliant. I'm happy that we got players on the bench who can make impacts. Tanaka off the bench, Anonto off the bench. Even in my opinion, an Okafor soon will be off the bench, because I think Mecha should be starting next to DCL. I think that's a better front two. And we need the one thing I say about Fark's subs he needs to stop is this Mecha at left wing. This Mecha at left wing is a striker. Don't put him on at left wing. It's not working. Put him in that front two. Start him in that front two. And then if we need a goal later on in games, or I'd rather Okafor off the bench because of his pace. And another thing, you look at that. 20 centimeters of snow here in Germany, and Germany give us how about catching a live for the first time? Happy days. Do you not think we are seeing a Parlon with our keeper, not just like Aronson? Yeah, I've actually said our keeper, like I criticized him for the goal because he's kind of started to come out and he's like hesitated and stopped. I think if he just goes out and doesn't stop, he gets there, but he's like hesitated, which has cost him. If he doesn't hesitate, I think he gets to the ball and stops the shot. Or if he stays back, I think it's fine, because I think it was Bornell in that position. He has it covered. He has him covered. He did it early in the first half as well. There was a moment in the first half where he kind of came out, hesitated, stopped, and then I think might have been Bornell or someone just booted the ball. Like they got there first and booted the ball away. I'm worried about Perry, but there is this thing about he's just coming to the team, first season in the Premier League. Maybe you got to give players some time. I know it's hard with goalkeepers. It's very hard with goalkeepers to say give them time because, they're looked at because they can make mistakes. There is that thing about, and maybe it will just take him some time to get into the rhythm of things. I don't know. You're not signing a 16 million pound goalkeeper. You're not spending 16 million on a goalkeeper for him to, we're not going to sell him basically. And we're not going to bring in another goalkeeper, in my opinion. well, it's a 4-year contract, 16 mil we paid for him, 4 years. So he'll guaranteed start next season. We'll see if he improves. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. We'll just see what happens in the next in this season and next season, because we're going to have to see some improvements from him. Because I don't think he's an awful goalkeeper. I just don't know. And when you're a goalkeeper like Perry right now, and people are actually saying, is Darlow better? That's not great for someone that we paid 16 million for. You know, for people to go, Darlow might be better than you. You know, but I'm hoping he can just find. You know, hopefully he can just turn this around and find some form. And become a good goalkeeper. You know, you never know. Sometimes it does take a while for players to become good, but even goalkeepers, and hopefully by the end of the season, we're talking about Perry as, okay, he's a good keeper, he's turned it around. But at the moment, it's looking a bit shaky. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't drop him. But yeah, not his biggest fan, but he has moved to a new level in a new country. Hopefully, it works out. That's true. What Perry did, if it wasn't Mez, he'd have been getting death threat. I mean, yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, Mez did a lot of bad things in the championship. I mean, Mez is the example of it went the other way around. He first came in, he was brilliant in that first season, and then it went to shit. I'm hoping Melier needs to go. I hope he does go and just revitalizes his career, because that first season in the Premier League, I mean, people were saying, oh, France's future #1, and it's all gone downhill. So hopefully he can improve when he does leave. But yeah, you never know. Maybe it goes the other way for Perry. But yeah, it is a bit of a worry, you know, and you do get those things. I mean, Perry would have more credit in the bank, of course, than Melier based off everything that happened. But yeah, it's one of those things about, we just need a hope. It's just about hoping that he can just turn it around. Let me get the chat up again. It just disappeared. Come on. Anyway, what was I up to? Did I read this one? Where the oh no, I did read that one. I was like, I swear I read that one. Here we go. I read the Jane Bogle one, didn't I? Yeah. Come. Daniel Fuckton went to speak on Brendan Aronson, said Brendan's work rate never in doubt, which we've all spoken about. Like, even when Brendan was poor, we all spoke about how his effort is always there. His ability of, like, his work rate is always there. That's never been a question. His work rate. It's always been his ability. He has more clarity in these situations, tidy in his solutions. Then in passing or finishing, could have played with more clarity in some moments. Has needed to add end product. Embodies both sides of our game. And yeah, I mean, he's improving his end product right now. I mean, that finish is like what you would see from like a striker that's on, you know, 10 plus goals in the Premier League, comfortable in front of goal. It was cool, calm, collected, that finish, just left footed, popped it in the beautifully past Lemons. It was beautiful. The way he got in front of Heaven as well, when, you know, he used his strength there. He got in front of him and got into a position where the only thing Heaven could do is he couldn't do anything. If he does anything, it's a penalty. You know, he got his body in front of Heaven where he had no way of getting to the ball, which was brilliant as well, the way he shaped his body. The whole team learning as they go on. Fark too. Yeah, that's true. I mean, the way Fark's changed the formation, and then you've seen improvements from players across the season. You know, there's been moments in this season where you've gone, oh, we stack up to it. Then he's improved. Brandon, you can keep going about probably most players in this squad. They've all had like a down patch, and then they've all kind of risen at the same time, really, of like performances. Like, of course, you had like the Ampadus and the Rodons and the Bogle, who kind of got into the Premier League and they've taken it by storm straight away, and they've not really played bad at all. You know, as I said, I think you know, we have a lot of good players in this squad. I mean, the signings right now, actually sound like genius signings at the moment. I mean, they've all worked basically. Not really a signing that's not worked. Even Bornau has worked. You know, all the signings we have made has worked. It's crazy. Wasn't even Leon. Yeah, I saw that about he wasn't even on our list, and Fark wanted a goalkeeper. The board wanted another goalkeeper, and then they kind of went with Perry because he was like in between, and Leon were struggling with, and they needed the money. So yeah, it was kind of that thing of like they both wanted a keeper, and then Perry was kind of in the middle, and the situation arose for us to be able to get him. So that's why we actually got him. 25 Sydney. I will be ready Thursday morning. I will be there. I'm hoping Newcastle's going to be a tough game. Newcastle's going to be a very tough game. But yeah, is that all you have to say? Oh yeah, something else to say. I have my doubts for Wednesday about Sebastian Bornau, James Justin, Ilya Gruev. He's not played too much before. Two games, almost the whole distance in his legs. I mean, as I said, Gruev won't play the next game because Ampadu's back. James Justin might have to play this game depending on if Bogle can actually start the game, or it'll be one of those things where, well, we don't want to risk and start him. And then Bornau's the worry for me because he has played a couple of games now, but there's no one else we can play at centre back unless you go with James Justin at centre back, where you play James Justin there and then play Bogle fullback if Bogle can play. I think it all comes down if Bogle can play, because I think if Bogle can play, there is, looking at what Daniel Farke's just said about basically the players, I think James Justin might play centre back over Bornau, because Bornau is the more of a risk because he's more injury prone. I think he's the most injury prone player probably out of the three. I mean, Gruev's not injury prone. He's just really, Gruev had one bad injury, I remember. I thought he had that. He was very good before he got the injury. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would stick James Justin right centre back just because I like Bornau and I think he's done well, but there is that worry about his injury record. The fact of he's played a couple of games now, and you're starting to go a bit against Liverpool when he went off, and you're like, oh god, please don't be injured. But yeah, Bornau's impressed me, and giving him a game break just basically make sure that he's not going to be injured. But yeah, good performance from the team by everyone. I think everyone was brilliant. Basically, I thought we were good enough. I thought James Justin should have probably played a bit better. I thought Stack was a bit poor in the first half, but then I thought, again, the second half, I thought both those players stepped up and had better second halves, which is good. Then there's also, let's go through some stats. Leeds United stretched the club's unbeaten Premier League run to 7 matches for the first time since November 2001 under David O'Leary, which was 13 matches. So, I mean, if we could break that and get 13 games unbeaten, I don't think there's a chance that happens. That would, if we went 13 games unbeaten, we would generally, at that stage of 13 games unbeaten, be 10th, 9th in the league. If we generally go unbeaten for the next 6, we would be in that mid-table bracket and be like, oh, well, we're not even going to have to worry about a relegation battle. Not only that, if Bogle goes forward. Yeah, exactly. Where Bogle goes forward. I mean, that's what we missed against Scum. We missed, yeah, my mouse stopped working. That's what we missed against Scum. We missed the going forward because James Justin just doesn't do that like Bogle does. But yeah, we didn't. So I think if we had Bogle in this Scum, just Bogle. I just think we had one injury too many. One player out too many when Rodon and Ampadu, but I think Bogle just one too many for us to win the game. I think if Bogle plays, nothing on James Justin as well because he was brilliant in the Liverpool game. But if we had Bogle for that game, I generally think he creates a couple of chances and could have seen us, get a goal. I think we just missed that creativity of, getting forward, bombing forward. I can't see us getting anything from Newcastle. I'll be happy with a rubbish 0-0 and getting a point, Matt. But hopefully I hope we can get... I'll take a point because Newcastle's a very tough game. Can we get... Remember under Jesse Marsh, we did that. That was one of the most boring games of football and it was 0-0. I remember that. It was so boring. Just a 0-0 draw. We did that last time, but yeah, St. James's Park, very tough place to go. So hopefully, there were just 174 seconds between Leeds United's opening goal through Brendan Aronson and Manchester United's equaliser. So that's frustrating because, as I said, I thought we took that out of our game. I thought we took that out of our game of us conceding after scoring. But yeah, Manchester United have still never won 3 consecutive visits to Ellen Road. That's a positive. Leeds United have only failed to score in one of the last 18 Premier League games at Ellen Road. That's another big positive, that we do score goals at Ellen Road. And then we go into a couple of 2 players' performances. Firstly, a Yaka Biol. Yaka Biol is starting to be, in contention for signing of the season. I know Stack will be up there. You got James Goodmanson's probably up there as well. You got Stack. At the start of the season, really, you had Longstaff. I thought he was brilliant at the start of the season. Not anymore, but yeah, Yaka Biol's up there. Jacobiel's up there. Also, he's up there for, is he our best centre back? Because I still feel like Rodon's better than Biol, but Biol's getting there to being like above Rodon, because Rodon for me is player of the season at the moment. Rodon's player of the season. Biol's climbing that. I feel like Biol's climbing that with his performances. At the moment, Rodon's still my player of the season, but I think that's going to change. Of course, because he's been injured, so I do think that's going to change because of that. But there's a couple of players sneaking up there. I mean, Brendan Aronson, might I say top 5? Might I honestly say the way he's played, top 5 players for us this season. I mean, he's up there. Jacobiel's climbing as well. Like, he's probably like probably up there as well. Maybe just below top 5, like 6 or 7, 6 to 8th, I'd say. Like, he's up there. He's climbing as well, and I think that's great that our players are like, the players that are like, we were a bit worried about or weren't performing early on in the season are just starting to find some form and playing well. So Jacobiel against Man United had 64 touches, 37 out of 47 successful passes, 8 passes into the final third, 8 clearances, 6 ball recoveries, 8 headed clearances, 5 duels won, 4 interceptions, 2 blocks, 1 chance created, 1 tackle won, 1 foul, 1 time foul. He gave away 1 foul and then he was fouled once as well. Brilliant performance at centre back for Jacobiel, and just in the middle of the three, he's perfect. Like, the problem is with Biol, he can't play in a back 2 or left and right because he just doesn't have the pace for it. But in that middle of that back 3, brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant for that formation. Which everyone talks about. That's how he's played his career before he came to Leeds as well, playing in that back 3, playing in that middle and stuff like that. So yeah, you can just see how great he is in that position, in that back 3. The next player is, of course, Brendan Aronson, my man of the match. Absolutely brilliant. I thought he got the ball, he created chances, he would get the ball, and like, it's not even like, you look at the couple of chances we had. I mean, early on in the game, he gets the ball and plays into DCL and it just goes over the bar. He, of course, has that terrible shot after stealing it off Casemiro and running through. He was probably our only player that looked like creating a chance in the first half. Second half, kind of went a bit down at the start in the second half with the performance, and then the goal, brilliant. Yeah, he played 87 minutes, 49 touches, 8 ball recoveries, 4 opposition box touches, 2 passes into the final third, 2 duels, 2 shots, 1 shot on target, 1 interception, 1 foul, 1 goal. I mean, absolutely brilliant, and it's good to see. Like, I mean, Leeds United fans, we all love an underdog story, or like a redemption arc, and Brendan Aronson's delivered that redemption arc beautifully in the last month. Like, since that Liverpool game, he has been brilliant. No player made more ball recoveries at Ellen Road today than Brendan Aronson. Of course, yesterday. Which he made 8. Of course, he made 8 ball recoveries, and no player made more than him. Leeds have earned as many points across the last 7 matches, which is 11 points, as in our opening 13 Premier League games, which was also 11 points. So basically, in half the games, we've got the same amount of points that we did. That's mad that we just did it in half the games, which just proves, in my opinion, I think we're just gonna. I feel like we're getting ourselves away from the relegation zone. I mean, that can all change. It only takes 1 or 2 injuries or our form just to slip up a bit, and then West Ham to find some form. You never know. Like, it's not over at the moment, but at the moment it's looking very good that we're going to be able to stay up in the Premier League. There's still a way to go yet. Yeah, of course. But the last time Leeds went an entire season unbeaten against the trio of Manchester United, Liverpool, and Chelsea was in the 1971-72 season, when we played them a total of 8 times across all competitions combined, undefeated with 6 wins and 2 draws. The last time Leeds United went a whole league season unbeaten against the trio of Manchester United, Liverpool, and Chelsea was in our title-winning campaign. Oh, I got that wrong. So it was the title-winning campaign 91-92 under Howard Wilkinson, where it was 3 wins, 3 draws. Anything else here? Leeds remain unbeaten in our last 17 matches across all competitions in the month of January, a run stretching back to 2023 with 10 wins and 7 draws. So again, we have been absolutely brilliant in January since 2023. If Aronson keeps playing like this, he is. We will have to start worrying about someone stealing him. Oh man, he's been brilliant. I mean, I'm not worried about anyone really at the moment. I mean, there's gonna have to be like people aren't going to like this, but there's going to have to be probably someone that we move on that we don't want to move on. You know, it's one of those things about if you want to build a better squad, you're going to have to get rid of that player that's going to go for more, which could be like, if I'm looking at the squad currently right now with pricing of players, I'd probably say maybe, like, I'm not saying now, of course, or next season. I'm saying, like, in the future for us to build a better squad, there's, like, players that I look at, I mean, are better players, like probably like your Stacks, who've been unbelievable. You know, maybe even someone like a Rodon who we had in the Championship who's been unbelievable in the Premier League. Or, you know, you look at like I mean, Bogle. Bogle's another player. Like, of course, with PSR, you look at players like Bogle. You look at players like Nonto. You look at, and then you go, you know, those type of players. I mean, I hope we don't have to sell anyone. I hope we you know, do good this season. Next season we finish like mid-table and we don't really sell anyone. But it's one of those things about, you know, it's going to happen. But I'm liking this. I love the squad we have currently right now, and it's one of those things about, you do get sad at that time of like, there's going to be a time where someone we don't want to go is probably going to go. But hey, I'm liking maybe even a Tanaka as well. Of course, he's another one with PSR because of how cheap he was. But yeah, I mean, Aronson, if he continues playing like this, that 25, 30 million we paid for him, we might, not saying we'll make it back, but he might have been worth that money in the end. I mean, I think I've seen something like after the end of this season, he has 1 year left on his contract. If he continues playing like this, I'm generally thinking about, you know, he has 1 year left on his contract, I think, next year. Or is it this year? It's something like that. He has, I don't even know how you check contracts. Is there a way? Player contracts. I think his contract ends in Let me just see if I can find it. There we go. Let's just see if we can find it. Because I've been thinking about when he gets on a year left, Brendan Aronson. If he continues playing the way he is right now, there is genuinely a feeling that I have of, why not give him like another 2 years? Like, not a massive. I don't think he'll be. I know he's still young. I say 2 years, but he's still young. So I look at Aronson. He's still a very young player. What is he, like 23? Brendan. He's 25. No, he's 25. But like, still, that's like, you know, Brendan Aronson's about to enter his prime of his career. And maybe this is where he steps up into his prime. I mean, if he continues playing like this, hopefully, he's starting to enter that kind of prime age. You know, at 25 right now, your prime age probably like, what, 27, 28, around that age. And he's not far off, you know, and he's playing brilliant right now. How do I see his contract? It said you can, here we go, let's see, Brandon, blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Contract expires in 2027. The 30th of the 6th, 2027. So it does next year. So it's a year and like a year and 5 months. So he's got a year and 5 months left on his deal, on his contract. After the end of the season, if continues playing the way he has played genuinely give him 3 years. Give him a 2-3 year contract. Genuinely, he would have earned it if he continues playing the way he's playing, which, you know, I'm liking the fact that we, you know, I like our squad, as I said, and Aronson continues playing like this. You never know. You never know what can happen with players. Sometimes they just turn, you know, it takes some players, it takes some time until they play at their best football. I mean, Bamford, the best example, it took him till he was 28 to play his best football, 20 around that time. When we got to the Premier League, like, it can happen later, you know, around your prime age. In that, you look at DCL right now, you know, he's had, since that lockdown season, he's not been great. Now he's found his form again. Aronson's starting to find some form right now, and he's entering almost the prime age of his career, and maybe he's about to enter, maybe prime Brendan Aronson's about to absolutely cook the Premier League. I mean, hopefully. Leeds are the first newly promoted side to go 7 Premier League matches unbeaten in the past 7 seasons. Sheffield United last managed to go 7 top-flight games undefeated between October and December 2019 when they finished 9th in the Premier League. One to watch, the last newly promoted side to go on longer unbeaten run in the Premier League was Birmingham City, who went 12 games unbeaten in the 09-10 season. 09-10 season. Anything else? Anything else? Brendan Aarons, of course, joins the becomes the latest player, of course, to score our first goal of a new calendar year. Alongside, I'm not going to go through them, but since 2020, Bamford, Rafinha, Harrison, Nonto, Bamford, Strauch, and Aronson. That's the last 5 years. Leeds United, brilliant team goal, of course. Match of the day, tweeted out. The team goal, of course, finished by DCL against Sunderland, won December's goal of the month. December 2025, December 2025 DCL, September 1995 Tony Yeboah, August 1995 Tony Yeboah, and April 1994 Rod Wallace. DCL becomes only the third different Leeds United player to win the Premier League Goal of the Month award, and first in 30 years. When do they announce the manager of the month? That's soon, right? They do it like next. I think it gets like announced next week, I think. Because I know last month they didn't do it until like the 12th or something like that. I can see a few looking at him for sure, man. If his form keeps up, it's just what happens. And yeah, exactly. It's just what happens. And it's the whole PSR. The PSR thing's the most annoying thing. I mean, that won't be with Aronson because we spent 30 million on him, 25 mil to 30 million on him. But like you look at players like Tanaka, when we paid only 3 million. A club come in for 40 million. You're kind of like PSR. It helps a lot. It's one of those things about you have to look at PSR when you do that. Willie Nonto, PSR. Especially the players you don't spend much money on, Bogle and that. But yeah, as it happens, you sell your players, you move on. You wish the players the best that do go. You hope they have a good career, as long as they leave with respect. As long as players leave with respect and all that, I hope they go smash it wherever they go. I hope they have good careers wherever they go. But yeah, Leeds United, this game I thought we were brilliant. Cunha actually won the Premier League, gave Cunha the man of the match, which in my opinion was bullshit. I thought Cunha was good for them. I thought he was their best player. But Brendan Aronson was the best player on the pitch for me. I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. I thought he was better than Cunha. If Cunha doesn't score on the goal, the game ends 1-0, sorry. Aronson wins it. And I know people go, well, Aronson scored, but even before the Aronson goal, I thought he was the best player on the pitch. He created probably the most chances. He was the most dangerous player for us, and I thought he was more dangerous than Cunha, to be honest, because I don't think Man United really threatened us a lot until they scored. Like, I don't think they threatened us much at all. I thought Aronson should have won man of the match. He got ours, so that's like, well, for you look at that, 2 man of the match performances in the last 3 games. Like, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. And hopefully we can continue this form. Of course, after Newcastle, we got the cup match against Derby. That's another thing we got to play in the cup. Hopefully, we'll make some changes, but fuck, do not throw the cup away. I want a good cup run. I want a cup run because you continue in the cup and when we got knocked out by Sheffield Wednesday, you look at that, and the next game they play Grimsby. And then you look at that and you look at who they play after and you go, oh, that could have been us and we could have made it to like the final. You never know. You might get an easy run and get to the final 8 teams and you're like, you never know, we could win it. And when you get near the end, that's when you start playing more of your first team. When you get like into the final like 8 teams, you go, okay, we're going to start playing our first team. And the way we have been playing, I think there's a genuine chance if we do go on a little cup if we go on a cup run, and then we get closer and closer, and we get to like what happened when we were in the championship when we got knocked out by Chelsea, but we were close. We got to like when we get to that stage, like what the 6th round is that? Was that the 5th or 6th round, something like that? But that Chelsea game, we get there again, and I feel like the way we're performing, you start with more of your first team because you're getting closer to the end where you're like, shit, we could actually win the cup. Based off performances and the way we're playing, there's a genuine chance if we made it to the final 8 teams, I would back us to actually make it to Wembley. Now the problem comes with we don't do shit at Wembley. We don't score at Wembley. So that's going to be difficult, but I could see us going on a cup run. What do you want to see with Forest West Ham game? A draw will be fine for us, I think. Yeah, West Ham, for me, I don't know. For me, just West Ham not winning. Like a draw is good between a draw or a Forest win. Because as long as West Ham just keep keep below, as long as we can just keep extending the lead. I think for me, a draw would be the best because I do want to stay above Forest. I do want to finish above Forest. But even if Forest won, I'll be happy. But just don't let West Ham win. Please don't let West Ham win. I mean, they shouldn't. I mean, they got battered by Wolves. Surely after they get battered by Wolves, they don't. But yeah. So looking at performers in this game, I thought there was a couple of good performances. Some that go under the radar, like Pascal Struijk, I feel like gone under the radar all season because I think he just has good performances. And when he plays well, all you hear about is fairly though. All you hear is like Rodon and Biol, and I feel like Struijk kind of gets like left of like he doesn't get like the praise that the other two do. But I think he's been great this season once he's come into the back three. I mean, I've seen some people talk about Pascal being slow. I don't think he's a slow centre back. I don't know where this thing comes from about Pascal not being a quicker. I think he's a fast centre back. I think he's fast. And like I've seen some people say he's a slow centre back, and it confused me because I don't think he is. So yeah, Struijk had 1 assist, of course, when he popped it over for the Aronson goal. He had 11 defensive contributions, won 3 out of 4 tackles, 3 interceptions, 4 clearances, 6 recoveries, won 4 out of 6 of his ground duels, 7 out of 12 of his aerial duels. He gave away 1 foul. He had 1 big chance created, 1 key pass, 37 out of 50 accurate passes, 74%, passes in opposition half, 16 out of 25, 64%. Passes in own half, 21 out of 25, 84%. Long balls accurate, 2 out of 6, 33%. 64 touches, 1 unsuccessful touch, 1 dribble which wasn't successful. 15 times he lost the ball 15 times. But like performance-wise, I thought he was great, Struijk. I thought he played very well. I always think Struijk has like good performances, but kind of goes under the radar, as I said, because of Biol and Rodon. And even like Bornau's come in and people are like shocked that he's been, as good as he has been for a player who we went, oh my God, he's injury prone, 5 million. And he kind of, Struijk always gets kind of left to the side when people talk about how good we are defensively or how good we've been defensively. And yeah, it's one of those things. I want to look at Gruev's because I just don't agree when people say Gruev wasn't good in this game. He just does the simple things very well. Let's see what Gruev had. Let's see his stats. He had accurate passes, 43 out of 51, 84%. Passes in opposition half, 23 out of 27, 85%. Passes in own half, 20 out of 24, 83%. 1 out of 1 long balls, 100%. 57 touches. Lost the ball 8 times. 3 defensive contributions. Won 1 out of 2 of his tackles. 1 block shot, 3 recoveries, 2 ground duels, 1 out of 4. 2 aerial duels, 1 out of 2. And got dribbled past twice. I thought Gruev was sound. Defensively, I thought he was absolutely sound. I thought Gruev was absolutely sound defensively. In the first half, I think in the first half, I was looking at him as being one of the players that looked like creating something. I mean, he was getting the ball and trying to, feed it into Okafor for him to like hold the ball up. And he did that a couple of times. I just don't think he gets... I think people expect Ampadu performances from Gruev. I think that's generally what it is. I think it's 2 things. People expect Ampadu type performances from Gruev when they play the same position, but they're completely different players. They're 2 completely different players by the way they play. Ampadu is more attacking. You could get a goal from him. You can get an assist from him. Gruev's more pass and move. Get the ball, pass and move. Get the ball, pass and move. Get the ball, play it forward, pass and move, pass and move. And very strong in tackles, Gruev. Gruev's very good in tackles, winning the ball back. Help getting possession back in games, especially games where teams are all over us. Gruev will get the ball and slow it down and win the ball back and, does the simple things very good that kind of go under the radar. He also does a lot of running. I think people don't see that. He does a lot of running in games as well. He covers a lot of ground as well. Like, he's a player that does cover a lot of ground, that doesn't get, like, kind of praised for that in a way. I mean, I thought he was good. I mean, Stack, as I said, first half I thought he was pretty poor, but second half I thought he was a lot better. DCL, I think, was a bit quiet in this game completely. Besides, of course, the first half he had that header that hit the post, unlucky. But I thought the first half he was pretty like anonymous, couldn't really get into the game. That's not his fault. Just couldn't get him into the game. It looked like, I think in the second half he kind of got in the game a bit more, but still I wanted to see a bit more from DCL in this game. I thought he was good, but I think he didn't get to that level that he has been at like in this game. Okafor tries things. He's similar to an Aronson. I think Okafor and Aronson are in the same position of like they're the two players in this team that try things. So when they lose the ball, people will have people groan and like here in the crowd. Ugh. But like they're the ones that try and attempt things. They attempt the things that other players in the team don't do. So when they're more likely to lose the ball. So because they attempt the flashy type of runs and the I'm gonna try and put this past through, even though there's a slim chance it will actually get through to them. But if it does, it look, you know, if it pays off, you look like a genius. They try things, you know, and they're not afraid to lose the ball or make a bad pass, you know, because they're attempting things, which what you want to see. The thing with Okafor that I think he's kind of been hit with when he signed was the whole, oh my god, next Rafinha. I think that's kind of hurt him a bit with, like, you know, just based off fans and how good people think he is. Because people, like, when we sign him, oh, next Rafinha. I think that's kind of hurt him. Because I don't think we're ever going to sign a player on the level of Rafinha. I think Rafinha is world class. I generally don't think we sign another player on the level of Rafinha ever. And kind of him being hit with that, like, oh, the next Rafinha, I kind of think made people say he's been worse than what he actually is. As I said, I would prefer DCL and Metcha because I think they offer more in the front two, which with what we need. Because with DCL and Okafor, the defense will always know, the team we're playing, the defense will always know, oh, DCL is going to be the one they're going to hit it long to. Where if you got Metcha and DCL, you can hit it to both because both can win the ball in the air. Metcha's better with his feet, but he can also win headers. You know, like Metcha is similar to Okafor with, like, he's got a good first touch. He's good skillfully with his feet, and he's good with his feet. But Metcha can also win headers, so he has that to his game as well. Where when you have Okafor and DCL, you're like, well, they're always going to go to DCL. But yeah, I think Okafor would look a lot better off the bench. I've heard some people say, like, oh, what do we do with when Dan James is back? Where would he play? I don't think Dan James would start a lot of games. He can play, like, maybe fullback in some games. So maybe he is kind of like, you know, he might play some games of fullback off the bench. Like, I would like to see when DJ comes back, I would like to see him in the front too. Off the bench, I would love to see DJ in the front too, just like off Calvert-Lewin or Metcha, whoever's on the pitch at the time, and just try and get that little flick on. And if you get that flick on the DJ, he's through. You know, it's sad with DJ getting that injury because of how good he was in the Championship, and I don't know if he's good enough for the Premier League. He's not. I don't think he's good enough as a starter for the Premier League. And hey, maybe he proves me wrong, but he just doesn't sound like a good he can do it as a starter. But off the bench, DJ, like when he comes back from injury, of course, which don't know when that will be. I mean, I hope he's back before the end of the season because it's frustrating for him because of how good he was last season. He kind of deserved it, you know how great he was, but him getting injured. But I think the position he would play is off the bench is the front two. You know, depending on the situations in games of who we need to bring on, Dan James could be one of those players. But yeah, performance-wise, I like most players' performances. I thought we played well, and you know, we move on to the next game against Newcastle, which is against St James's Park, very tough place to go. I feel like this might be where our unbeaten run does come to an end, just because I think Newcastle are a very good team. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below about anything that I said in this one. Make sure you like on your way out, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you all in the next one, which will be the preview tomorrow. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out my Premier League predictions that I uploaded a couple of hours ago, so that's on the channel. And yeah, I'll catch you all in the next one, which will be, of course, the preview tomorrow.